So a quick recap of those few things we did with Visual Studio in the lecture session last week. I'm going to create a new project. I'm making it a Visual Basic project for now, and from this long list of options I'm choosing ASP.NET Web Application. For the moment I'm ignoring where this will be stored. I'll say OK, and I'll ignore these more complicated options and go for an empty website, and I'll ignore all these options too. We'll get round to those later. It'll take a few seconds for a sort of empty website to be created. And now that I've got that, I'll ignore these tutorials and right click on Web Application 5, the name of the website. I didn't give it a good name, it just defaulted to Web Application 5 because it's the 5th web application I've created on this machine. I'm going to add a new item. The new item is going to be a web form. And if I choose to add that, you'll see that a web form is really a web page. There's HTML in there. In fact, what I will do is that if I go into this, this split view, I can see the HTML at the top and the way the website looks underneath. I might then pop over to W3 Schools, and they've got an HTML tutorial, so there's a little bit of HTML, not very much HTML there, that I'm able to copy. And if I go back here, I could paste that in here. I'm getting rid of the form because at this stage we're not really thinking about form. I wanted to have more than one paragraph, just to make this web page look super complicated. I'll put that in there, maybe change the wording of that. But I don't need to actually, they're both paragraphs. So when I go down here to the design view, you can see H1 is the header and those are the paragraphs. So the next idea is to attach a style sheet to the page to make it look better. So if I go over here and pick Add New again and pick Style Sheet, and then again take the lazy way out of going over to W3 Schools and having a look at their Style Sheet tutorial, and then I'm going to steal that code so that back here I could simply paste it in. Now I've got a style sheet and a web page. So if I go to the web page, you see at the moment not formatted by the style sheet, but if I drag the style sheet here into the head of the document, then when I click down here, you see the style sheet has been applied to that page. The only remaining thing that I did was to, and I'll do this in design view, I don't need to see the HTML, was to go into the toolbox. You see, there are a lot of things in the toolbox, but what I did was to pick a label and to drag that onto the page, and then I went back to the toolbox and moved a button onto the page. Now, so if I go to this, I select the button, then over here, bottom right hand corner, there's a list of properties of that button, and the text property is a property that relates to the words appearing on the button. So I've changed that, and now it's changed on the actual button. The label object also has a text property, and I could change that to something traditional, hello world. So now I've got a label that says hello world. I we'll double click on this button and this event handler opens up. Well, an event handler is a place where I can write code which will be executed in response to that event. And the event is someone clicking that button. So what I would like to see happen when someone clicks the button is that the text in that label, which was called label 1, because I didn't give it my own name, it just named it label 1. When I press a full stop, I get a drop-down list of those properties. And the one that I was interested in changing is the text property, and I can change that to the word goodbye. So this would introduce a small amount of interactivity into the page. So if I press this play button up here, what will happen is that we'll launch a server here that presents the page to the browser. I'm not sure about these error messages. I think you're going to just have to put up with the fact that Visual Studio is quite a complicated piece of software. And sometimes you get these error messages which sort of just go away if you reset a few things. So don't be afraid to try a second time. I hope you can see it says hello world until I click this button and then it says goodbye. Right, so interesting, that level of interactivity. If I close the browser down, go back into that, I could actually change the label on the button. So if I went button 1 dot and then again pick the text property, it's expecting me to do that because that's what I did before, and then just put something in like that, then what I would expect to happen is if I run the program is that this time as the page loads, when I click the button, that should turn to goodbye and the label on the button should change too. So there's a very basic level of interaction available there. Well, that's all that we did with Visual Studio in the first practical, so I'll just stop talking now.